Seejeanty, we're back. Haiti Biz News, another day, another show. Now, it was a little bit of a weirdness where before we go officially live, I can set up the stream to sort of be on, even though the stream isn't starting on. It's putting on YouTube, and so I know a lot of folks I'm looking at the comments here, and they're like, what's going on? It was a show. Yeah, that's on me. I guess I really need to wait a little bit before I actually put the show, set up the slot for the show. But in any case, no technical difficulties. The show just didn't start yet, but it started now. Hello, everyone. Haiti Biz News, per usual, 11 a.m. Actually, I'll be honest with you, I was actually thinking about doing it a little earlier. The early show I did last week, because of what we had going on, went pretty well, to the point where I was like, man, and on top of that, I had my whole day in front of me, and I was like, man, you know what? Maybe I should do this at 8. Every episode, every weekend. And I was like, but then I tried to do it today, and I was like, I couldn't wake up. When you wake up early every week, you need a day to kind of, recover, right? And Sundays are that, of course. But in any case, pile on in, folks. Show started, right? And you already know what we got to do. We got to do give me about 5 minutes as I take care of some things in the background. The usual intro sequence is gonna play, right? So y'all go ahead and get comfortable. Grab a little water. We got a good action-packed show of lots of things to talk about. So just sit back, sit tight, and we'll get started in about a little bit here. All right. So here we go. Be back. News, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened. We're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. News Show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened. We're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Maybe it's a new show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty. Maybe this new show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, focused, economically focused on what has happened. We're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Haiti's News Show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Maybe it's a new show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty. Haiti's News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. Haiti's News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, focused, economically focused on what has happened. We're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get. And we are back. The show is back. Thank you for your patience as I took care of the background technicalities. At some point, we'll have a team behind the scenes. Just chit chat while I take care of it. But in the meantime, one man show here for Haiti Biz News in particular. Welcome. Today is the 30th of August. And do apologize for the folks who were kind of waiting for me there on YouTube land. YouTube allows you to come in before the live really starts. And I did have plans to start actually a little early, like 10:30 or something. And then I had a big old plate of soup jumu come to my office, and I was like, wait a minute, we're gonna stop. This show can wait a little bit. That's when we're not on a big media network. I don't have to necessarily adhere to specific times. That's the beauty of the live world we live in. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, the soup jumu was in front of me. In fact, I'll make a post about it. So y'all feel free. Y'all head over to Instagram or Facebook page, whatever it is. And you'll see the soup jumu I was having. Now, listen, you take a look at that soup jumu and be like, listen, you guys will understand. I think you guys will forgive me. A big old plate that nice. And I even asked that question. I'm like, listen, how often do you guys eat soup jumu? I'm interested to know. How often you guys eat soup jumu? I know some folks. For a long time actually, growing up, I only really ate soup jumu on Independence Day, like for real. Like growing up. Growing up, that was it. Ready to Independence Day, and then my mom would make a big old bowl of it, like a big old shoje, big old cauldron, right? And that would be the only time I ate soup jumu that whole entire year. Now I'm an adult in Haiti. I make it a point to eat and consume soup jumu every Sunday at least, if I can help it. So feel free to drop a comment either on my Facebook or my IG. Let me know. I'm curious. I'm just taking an informal poll just to see how often folks consume soup jumu. Feel free. Drop your opinion and perspective. And while you're over there, hit that follow and subscribe. Why not? All right. Lots to talk about today. We got so much to do as folks come in feel free, of course, and say what's up. Feel free and drop a chat, chat something. It's a conversation we're having out here. It's not a one-man show. It's really everyone who's participating here is my co-host. Though I am the one taking the time to do the research, see what's going on during the week, and jotting it down. But still, it is a conversation we're looking to have, and it's not just one perspective. I do encourage folks to provide theirs for whatever news story that we have going on, right? Of course, we had a fantastic recent YouTube Seejeanty episode. Went to Hotel Villa Therese. Hotel Villa Therese is a hotel located in Pétionville. Okay, it's located in Pétionville on the southern side of the city. And it's really interesting because to get to there, you got to pass a lot of marshals. I like to call it the people side of Pétionville, right? But nonetheless, once you get through that street, it's genuinely an oasis in Pétionville. Like you go in and it's a whole different feel, look, sensation. And I had the opportunity to get that hotel, that place on camera, and we did things a lot differently. We shot it in a different style this time, and I think a lot of folks are telling me they like it. They like that direction we're going. So feel free, if you haven't watched that episode just yet, it is online right now. YouTube Seejeanty, Hotel Villa Therese. Had a great time shooting it, and we'll look out for more sort of features like that. In fact, this coming week, usually I don't do back-to-back hotels, but when opportunities come up, you want to jump on it. And so, in this next week too is going to be very interesting. So I'm not going to spoil it and tell you what it is. I'm just going to leave you to find out. Make sure you're subscribed, right? Make sure you're subscribed. Get that notification button on. So when it drops this week, you'll know. Right? You'll get it. Okay. All right. So, of course, I've been keeping you guys updated on the canal. How things are going. So do make it a point to, on IG in particular, my stories, I'm making a special story highlight for the canal. And so if you're following me on IG, you can stay on the post, particularly if you donate it. Right? So transparency is really important for me. Anything I, put my weight and name behind, I want to make sure it is something that lives up to advertisement. And I can tell you right now, I'm getting daily updates from the canal, and things are progressing. Again, if you want to see on the post of that, you can go to my IG page, and actually also a viewer by the name of Gary. He's actually stepped up. Shouts out to Gary, and he actually has created a page. He actually has created a page for the St. Louis Canal. You'll find it on Facebook. Just type in St. Louis Canal, and actually, you know what? I'll do something even better. I actually will see if I can share the link. And boot up my WhatsApp here and see if I can share that link, and you guys can. And what we're looking to do is basically that page will be a place where you guys can get up to the minute, or at least up to the day, and these updates on what's going on with the canal. So I will drop it as soon as I can get my. There you go. I think it's open now. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if I could get a copy and paste it here. It's still loading. Once it's done loading, I'll go ahead and drop it. And again, incredible progress is being made. I'm exceptionally happy of the amount of folks who have decided to respond. And actually, it's not there. I know where I'm going to find it. Who's responded? And I'm going to tell you, we're pushing. We're getting very close to 4,000, and that's all because of folks who have put their money where their mouth is. Right? It's not about wishing for a better Haiti, criticizing for a better Haiti, blaming on our politicians, saying that I'm not going to Haiti till they figure it out. Man, why Haiti? Why get au niveau de responsabilité? Na redéveloppement pays. I don't understand, right? I don't think Jewish people sat around, right? I don't think the Jewish people sat around waiting for, And I just dropped the link. Actually, Gary, thank you for dropping a link. But I went ahead and dropped the link, of course, YouTube, Facebook. So you feel free, guys, and go ahead and follow that page. You guys will stay in the know in terms of what's going on. Because again, you gave your hard-earned money, to this project, and you deserve to stay informed, right? So again, whatever we do here at Seejeanty, we do it with transparency and everything's above board. So feel free. And but yeah, as I was saying, the Jews didn't wait for somebody else to solve their problems, right? The Chinese didn't wait for someone else to solve their problems. That always baffles me, man. Like even in the videos I drop, again, 10 comments can be pretty positive, and they get it. There's always that one person who comes on the comments, man, I ain't doing nothing in Haiti until these government people figure it out. All right, but you ain't Haitian. I don't understand. Like I'm not waiting for someone else. I'm making it do what it do, right? In any case, I'm not. I'm grateful for the 10 folks for everyone person who doesn't get it. So I'm grateful for those 10 folks. It's all good. So that's the canal. Of course, for those watching, those who are so inclined, I'm dropping the banner. The banner's below. You see the banner down there. You see, the square cash for those who are so inclined who want to provide, who want to support what's going on here in a different way. Again, I always say, share the live is more than sufficient. Subscribing is more than sufficient, right? So however you want to participate in what's going on here, you can do that. It doesn't cost you a thing. If you share, if you like, if you follow, right? If you comment, it doesn't cost a thing. And of course, for those who are so inclined, do that square cash below, So, Jean voulait faire, as they say. Jean voulait faire, right? Toujours besoin de dire ça là, toujours très important que me baille un petit créole là, parce qu'il y a tout le monde qui a dit que me baille respect pour le langage langage qui connaît que tout haïtien tout côté, ok, mais pour nous comprendre bien, c'est pas respect pour lui actuellement. Son blague m'a dit là, mais pour nous baille très bien, m'a j'aime président, mais si le président les actes me fait des décrets qui me fait en premier, sur le premier jour, c'est nous mettre créole dans position numéro 1 dans le pays, nous, tout droit, toute émission, ça en créole doit faire, et après ça, on peut faire une translation en français ou préférable pour moi en anglais. De deuxième part, je vais ajouter l'anglais comme un autre langage officiel, parce que on connaît business, il fait en anglais, mais il fait en anglais, on ne va pas faire en français. Même business fait en espagnol. Mais en tout cas, nous ne va pas rentrer dans le parti dominicain, tout est en anglais. Mais nous faisons une mission en anglais parce que, pour raison, pour tout le monde qui est dans le pays des États-Unis, pas spécifiquement parce que c'est là que nous dit, nous avons un côté qui nous recevoir des nouvelles dans un sens qui nous est à l'aise, qui nous va comprendre, non? Mais c'est là que nous grandissons dans le pays, nous grandissons avec nous. Si nous recevoir dans l'autre bail tout, vous comprenez? Il n'y a pas que l'autre côté qui a bail nouvelle, Haïti, tête frette, sans opinion, ok, sans ambition pour changer d'avis. Tout l'autre côté, yo tout gagne un complot, tout gagne un bail avant nous. Moi-même, c'est seulement qui ça qui passe, qui ça qui a preuve là-dedans, qui ça qui quand on dit facts, qui ça qui a partagé par nous. Et en plus, nous faisons moins sous politique, plus sous progression économique. Vous comprenez? Bah, écoutez comme ça, sur tout net là. So, c'est la raison que nous là, nous faisons en anglais, mais encore, et c'est pas respect bien pour nous. Après, nous connaissons sur l'internet encore là, qui a montré, il a dit, oh, coup de créole là, pas pour nous base, parle de créole. Je vais expliquer bien rapide pour nous ça, mais anyways, nous toujours parle dans le commencement pour nous comprendre que, ouais, c'est là, oui, mais pour nous-mêmes, nous avons besoin de côté. Parce qu'il y a tout le monde qui va parler créole. C'est le côté que c'est pas une information, c'est sur Fox News, c'est sur CNN, bien côté ça yo, Miami Herald, seul bail qui va pour écrire Haïti, c'est bail sale, bail fatra, bail corruption, mon absier moun. Si c'est celle ça aussi va sur Haïti, dans langue anglaise. Pas passer de mal, Haïtien manger moun, on va visiter tout. Pourquoi ça? On sur cela encore nous allons côté un espace qui nous ca discuter en anglais pour tout le monde, pour tout l'autre monde autour. OK? Parce que cela c'est une mission. Mission c'est Haïti pour le monde et finalement le monde parler anglais. OK? All right, finish with that. Just giving folks a disclaimer. You know why we do it in English. You know, it's not that we have any false feelings about it, but we just want to make sure everyone understands. Everyone can get a better comprehension of English and of Haiti, and we can move forward. You know, because it's Haiti to the world here on Seejeanty, and we want as much information to go out. And of course, so many folks. The only place they have information is Fox News, CNN, Miami Herald, and the only time they ever write about Haiti is when the bad's happening. I can't. Please cite me a CNN, Fox News, Miami Herald article that's positive. Please, I'd love to see it. Haven't seen it. Have not seen it. Right, and it's about being fair and balanced. We're going to talk about. In fact, we're going to talk about a very serious thing today. For example, we're going to talk about insecurity. Insecurity. There's been some very violent things happening in Haiti, and we're going to talk about it. So we don't hide, we don't run away from, the difficult topics that need to be discussed. We don't do that here. It's not naive business. It's IT business. We're full circle, full rounded entity here, right? But do understand, right? There's multiple sides to it, right? There's multiple sides to it, and there's positive sides, there's positive things happening in Haiti that gives me a little bit of hope. It gives me a little, okay, if they follow through with this, they execute with this. If more money goes towards this project and not towards someone's pocket, actually there might be a nudge in a positive direction. And we're here to talk about those things. We're going to talk about those things in addition to some of the things of concern, right? So welcome. Let me drop into the chat. So before I do that, folks who are watching on Instagram, just know that Instagram is not a real social media live network. I say it like that because they have a 1 hour max for some crazy reason. 2020, everybody's doing lives. Instagram decides, you know what? We're going to limit people to an hour. Who does that? Why do they do that? In any case, when it runs out, I am not going to renew it. I don't got time to be tinkering with Instagram. So just know we're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Heck, we're even on Periscope, for goodness sake. Right? 3 different ways, all under Seejeanty. So if it's live on Instagram, when that live on Instagram drops, just know, switch over to a real social media that doesn't have caps and stuff and nonsense. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and drop in the chats here. Let's drop in the chats and see what folks are saying. A lot of folks who were in here before. But we had yours truly, Pierre. What's up? Who was in here earlier? Teddy Claremont. What is up, brother? Happy to have had you in here. We had W. Francois. First time. He's saying his first time in Seejeanty. Y'all go give W. Francois a warm welcome. W. Francois, do make sure you subscribe. Hit that big follow button, however you're watching Seejeanty. Hit that like. And once you're done with watching this here, do go through the channel. We got so much content, so much things we're showing about Haiti. So make sure you go through some stuff we got on the channel and share your favorite ones, man. Share your favorite ones. Don't be shy. Drop a comment. Hope to see you next week, man. LM, what is up, man? LM, what is up? Joel Cruz says, Seejeanty, you have to make a program to discuss the high cost of hotels. It prevents people from going. I think I've talked about that, actually. And the reality is, the reality is that the problem isn't the hotels. I'll be honest. The problem is you. Okay? And here's why I say that. You do realize Haiti is in the Caribbean, right? You do realize Haiti has year-round perfect weather. You realize that, right? This isn't Haiti isn't smack dab in the middle of New Hampshire, right? Haiti is in a tropical climate with really good weather year round, with demand year round. Of course, if there isn't paid lock, if there isn't a level 4 advisory, if there isn't COVID, there's year round demand for hotels. There's a reason why, even though I don't necessarily think hotels are, I mean, tourism is important, right? But the problem is, so too many Haitians go the hotel route without doing things like manufacturing or trying to create an export-based sort of entity or outsourcing, things like that, that really can drive change and really make you more wealthy in a quicker way, with a lot less capital, right? But nonetheless, for those with capital, who have a few $100,000 you want to put somewhere and get good returns, a hotel is a great investment. Right? It's a great thing to put your money in. And you get folks traveling from all over the world, right? I mean, when I go to these hotels, I don't see Haitians. Too many Haitians are like this Joel Cruz. It's too expensive. Okay, cool. Venezuelans are going to enjoy your country. Colombians are going to enjoy your country. Europeans are going to enjoy your country. Mexicans are going to enjoy your country. They're not complaining. They see the beauty of Haiti for what it is, the climate for what it is, and they're spending on it. In fact, it's actually cheaper to hit up a hotel in Haiti in some places than to go to other places. Now, of course, you can argue inclusiveness, and et cetera. But that's one thing folks don't really understand. Second is that the cost, man. Like, it's really expensive to run a hotel in Haiti. Like, folks don't really appreciate that, right? Folks don't appreciate that the water coming out your faucet. There isn't central water, right? Those hotels are paying like every 2 hours, every 2-3 hours, they're having water camionettes of water coming in to put water in the ground, right? For your water. Electricity, guess what? There isn't EDH. If it was for EDH to stay electricity, in your hotel, you'd be in the dark most of your trip, complaining, real mad, leaving 1 stars. I can't believe I came to a hotel. There's no power. Oh my God. Right? They're running their own electricity source. They're running their own generators, right? So one thing you have to understand is, like, to operate a business in Haiti, you are your own infrastructure. You are your own state. And there's higher costs associated with that. Costs that ultimately, if you're going to stay in business, you have to be able to pass on to the person buying your thing. So, and I can go on and on. And so when I hear that from people, oh man, these costs, the hotels are too expensive. Open up a hotel yourself in Haiti and charge what you think should be charged. Charge $50, and let's see how long you stay in business in Haiti. Please. I'm begging you. If you think it's too expensive, that's the beauty of an economic market-based system, right? If you feel it's too expensive, go open your own hotel, and then so you should still, if you charge half, right? It's not 120, you charge $65 a room. You should be able to steal the market. You should be able to be at full capacity, right? Assuming you provide the same customer service, the same amenities, right? You should be at full 100% service. The people will flood you, right? There's always an expression: the market price is dictated by people who are willing to pay it. There's people who don't see 120 as expensive. And there's another big part too that folks don't appreciate either. A lot of the folks come into Haiti, oh man, 120 is so expensive. You understand, like, a hotel in Haiti really doesn't, like, much as you compare its revenue, like, from all the things it offers, its revenue, compare it to another hotel in America. Like, a hotel in America, like, let's say 90% of the revenue depends on people staying at the hotel. In Haiti, actually, maybe the revenue is based actually 60 to 55%, maybe 50% on people staying. The other 45% is actually not people staying, but people coming to eat, the restaurant, right? The other big percentage is people coming in for a pool day. A lot of hotels have pools. A lot of hotels offer pool day passes, right? And really, in America, you have other things to do. You have malls, you have little theme parks, little attractions, little things to to go, right? I mean, in Haiti, you really have two things to do when you're looking to cool off, have a good time. You either go to the beach, right? You drive, you form a program, you go to the beach. Well, three things. I make it three things. You go to the beach. Two, you enjoy a program or bal. You go to a campa. You just enjoy some music, some vibes. Or number three, if it's an afternoon thing, you go to a hotel restaurant, or you do a pool day at a hotel, right? And thus, there's a demand there that isn't connected to the room price, but just to the venue price, right? And thus, you have the sort of price you get. So I had to spend a little bit of time on that, because I do get comments when I post on my, when I go to post on these hotels. Oh man, these prices are too expensive. I want to spend a little bit of time to explain the economics of it. The economics is a lot different than the economics in other places in America, particularly, right? And I think hopefully it makes sense. To recap, you got to understand you're in a Caribbean climate, right? You got to understand that. Right, you gotta understand it's a lot. It's 3 times more expensive to run a hotel, any business really, but a hotel in Haiti. Then that's one reason they drive the price up. And third, honestly, the revenue isn't as connected to the room price because people are able to do other things. Okay, all right. So hopefully that should enlighten those who are just thinking about why the price is so expensive. I still will get people complaining about the price. Listen, I'm clear. Okay, vous pas mal go bon way. Si ba yo trop cher pour vous, okay, rete like I owe. Right? People always think when they think of Haiti, oh, Haiti's poor, so I'm not going to spend much. Listen, actually, Haiti's pretty expensive. I don't know what you heard, right? So if you can't afford to come to Haiti, I mean, listen, I hate to say it like that, but rete like I owe. You know what I mean? Haiti isn't deprived of quality. People think that, right? Quality is pretty high in Haiti, and the price is pretty high as well, right? So, et puis fini. Ma blague est comme ça. Okay, Saki Bayman, I'm back. Jonathan Lamar, watching from Waziz. What's up, Jonathan? Good to have you on the channel, bro. Good to have you on the channel. Regino Charlottine, hello, Neg Miagwan. For those who don't know. So thank you for that, original. We got Dodard, Subjumu every Sunday. That's right. My in-laws own a Haitian restaurant. That's what's up, Daniel. That's great. That's great. Make sure you're giving your props to your ancestors every time you take a spoonful. That's what's up. Lubin's Lanzi. It's like you didn't get enough full sleep. Why you say that? I look tired? What's going on? What's the matter? I don't feel tired. Right? I don't know. What was that comment about? Disrespectful tonight. Let's see, Gary. So at the moment, there's nothing. My plan is to use Facebook ads to reach out to many Haitians. That's what's up. Gary. Feel free, again, I know I just sent Gary some images, some videos, some photos. So Gary will be posting it on the St. Louis Canal page very soon. So make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button on there. We got Vibe and J. First time I'm seeing Vibe and J, I think. So what's up? Good morning, right? And hope to see you again, right? We got Zorek. Problem I'm having now is the random. Yeah, we're gonna talk. Well, is it really random? I don't know. We're gonna talk about it today, Zorek. And I wouldn't say. One thing that's very clear about Haiti. There's no randomness in Haiti. I just want to be very clear, in Haiti, there isn't random. Même quoi pays loc listen, there's nothing is random in Haiti. There's always a first mover. I want to be very clear with that, right? Now, I'm not here to say who's the first mover. So I'm not here to say Pep, I'm not here to point. I'm just here to tell you. There's always a first mover, all right? If you dig hard enough, you'll find it, all right? J. George says, let's see, some crime lately. We're going to talk about it. Something about being cheaper. Maybe, for those reasons, I think I was pretty clear, what are the things that are driving up the price, right, when it comes to Haiti, right?
Matthew Diffendahl, thanks for the perspective. Yep, no problem. Tammy Ray's in the house. What's up, Tammy? Happy to have you in the chat. Doing great things. Helping out soon to Sud. Happy to have you in the channel, Tammy. What's up? Let's see. Let's see. So Zarek says you got to give them some incentive. But again, I don't know what to tell you. I broke it down to you, right? Listen, here's the thing. I got to be very clear. When people are criticizing other people's businesses, right? The beauty of capitalism, Monsieur, Madame, Monsieur et Dame, Tadem Claire. I want to hear me. It's so easy to criticize business, right? If you guys feel these hotels are running their entities incorrectly, the beauty of a free market system, okay, is that you can start your own hotel. I'm serious. And if you are so right about the market conditions in Haiti, Mr. or Miss, that I live in another country and I'm just putting my perspective on this country, you're gonna win. You're gonna win. I'm not being facetious. I'm not being sardonic, right? I'm not being cynical. So I'm just being real with you, right? Open a hotel here, charge half the rate, and tell me what happens to it. Tell me if you can support your costs, right? Tell me, right? Tell me if you can provide a high quality output product for people to come back and visit. Tell me, right? And if you can, open up a chain of these hotels and win, profite. But I just told you, I just ran down the reasons. It's much more expensive to run a hotel in Haiti. People who live in Haiti don't really need to stay in a hotel, right? They'll come and enjoy the other amenities, and people charge reasonable rates for that, right? And third, you guys don't understand. Like it's a Caribbean climate. They get year-round demand if there isn't a pay lock or something going on. And there's enough people who pay those prices to make it economical in addition to the other revenues they're receiving. It be fini, right? Those are the three things. I don't know what else to tell you. But here's the thing I can advise you though, because I get it. Listen, I'm a cost-sensitive brother too. I get it, right? So here's my advice to folks complaining about hotel prices. Airbnb, you can get some pretty good prices on Airbnb, right? Like literally, I'm seeing prices $40, $30 a night, right? Reasonable accommodations to get a room, right? So if price is really the problem, right, and you still want to come to Haiti and you think 120 is unreasonable for a hotel room, there's Airbnb, my friends, right? Airbnb, okay? All right, on avance. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about a couple different things. We're going to talk about COVID. COVID is going to be talked about today. We're going to be talking about international aid. There's some money coming to Haiti, and we're going to talk about that. Tropical Storm Laura that had some incredible, came through last week and hasn't left an aftermath. We're going to give the run through the statistics. It's pretty humbling, unfortunately. I'm not looking forward to that, but we got to talk about it. Lots of information related to the banking sector in Haiti. We got quite a few stories as relates to banking in Haiti, so look out for it. We're going to be talking about that, right? There's some things happening in agriculture, some news, some things that I can't wait to talk about that's happening in agriculture. So we're going to talk about that. Airport. There's some airport happenings, related to aerospace, aerospace, airplanes happening in Haiti. We're going to talk about that. Electricity. This news story, I couldn't put it anywhere else. I put it under electricity. Not really electricity, but you'll see what I mean when I get to it. And finally, insecurity in Haiti. Insecurity in Haiti. We have to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Have a serious, genuine conversation about insecurity in Haiti. We have to talk about it, right? It's very important because it affects business, right? It's related to business. Right? If there's a perception of insecurity and there's some things that's been happening, those who follow news in Haiti, there's been some things happening, and we have to talk about it. Not that I want to talk about it, but we have to talk about it. Okay, so that's what we're looking to talk about today. Let's see what's up. Let's see what's happening on Instagram real quick. Let's see what's up. Cardio Solo, what is up? Hey. Feel free and send an email, and you can tell me what it is that you need. Cardi Solo. As you can imagine, I don't have a lot of time to make new pen pals. So if you're looking for a new pen pal, I'm not I'm not that guy. I'm running 3 businesses, working full-time as a consultant, running a media company. You know, so as they say, time is money. So you have to make it very clear. You know, what is that you want to talk about that I haven't already covered in my media? I make a lot of anupale, a lot of different media specifically to inform you on it. Honestly, 90% of what you want to ask me, I've probably made 2 videos on it. 2, not 1, 2 videos on it. So feel free, go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, check out what I have there already when it relates to business and different things living in Haiti, and learn, right? And what you don't see, I have a book coming out, actually. I have a book coming out for the end of the year, 101 ways to make money in Haiti, right? And it can cover a lot of different things. And if whatever you don't find in my media, it's going to be covered there, right? But unfortunately, I don't have time to make pen pals with the many subscribers and people I have. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love you guys. Feel free. That's why I do Haiti Biz News in the way I do it, where it's a conversation. Because it is important that I connect with the folks who are reaching out to me, but I got to do it in a very efficient way. And the most efficient way I can do it is the way we're doing it. 2-3 hours a week. You guys talk with me. I talk back, right? But come on now, like one-on-one, you got my genie. Put yourself in my shoes, right? But in any case, Cardio, do feel free if it's particular. After you follow all those steps, reach out and send an email. And I'll let you know if, however I can. Actually, mine isn't bad. Actually, what it is, it's connected on a funny Wi-Fi, and so the connection will be much better on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. So feel free to go over there, and hopefully the internet should be better there. All right, guys. And by the way, it's going to end in another couple minutes, actually. So the Instagram. So you're better off switching over to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube anyways. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the first little news story. Little news story, not little. COVID. We had 2,200 cases in Haiti. That's down from 2,400. Last week, it actually went up a little bit. I saw a little bit of an uptick last week, and now we're back down. Right. And that makes, out of the last 5 weeks, we had 4 weeks where COVID numbers have gone down. Active cases, have gone down. And we only had 5 additional deaths. The deaths stayed the same for about 2 to 3 weeks. They stayed the same. Right. And so that is what we like to report. We like to report things going down and not up. I can tell you in Haiti, there's a lot less masks being worn. A lot less adherence to washing hands before you enter a facility. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that means, if we're going to see another uptick, because adherence to COVID principles have gone down. But listen, I'm still wearing my mask. Even though on the videos you don't see me wearing the mask, but I promise you, in between, I just take it off because it messes up the sound quality and stuff. In between, and as we're moving around, I'm wearing my mask. Believe me. Okay, promise. And of course, DR. We got to talk about DR. DR has seen it decreases as well. 26. Why is it so bad on IG? That's weird, huh? Okay. Yeah, folks are telling me IG, the connection is not too good. But again, if you're watching IG, please head over to YouTube anyways, YouTube or Facebook. Okay, guys? And DR has seen a decrease as well, 3,000 less active cases from last week. They've seen, this is like the 3rd or 4th week where their active cases have gone down. And they're also seeing a lower increase in deaths as relates to COVID. only up perhaps. Let me see. I'm seeing about 100 deaths versus the 300 per week they were seeing before, right? So very happy to see that. International aid. The European Union has dedicated 33 million euros to help with budget support for Haiti. 33 million euros to help with budget support as relates to Haiti. And they've understand a lot of developing countries like Haiti, have seen a lot of pressure for their governments as they ramp up and do different spending initiatives to help keep up with COVID necessities. And so European has dedicated almost 150 million or some odd dollars for different countries. And Haiti is a recipient, will be receiving about 33.3 million to help with what's expenditures. And if you remember King Moise had said that they were spending upwards of $1 million a day to fight COVID. Whether you want to believe that or not, I'm not here to judge. I'm just the messenger. and he expressed that they were spending $1 million a day as relates to extra staffing, building up facilities, transport of medicine, things of that sort, ordering of materials. At least during the month of March, in April, at the very peak of the epidemic here in Haiti, right? So that 33 million will help, certainly, right? So Tropical Storm Laura, we're going to talk about that. As we know, last week, Tropical Storm Laura came through and affected quite a bit in the country. In fact, I was talking to you guys and during the rainstorm, and I shared that even before I came on the live, I decided for some crazy reason to go pick someone up during the live, right? And literally, I have a big old truck, 4x4, pretty high up. I think when I get in the truck, I got to do one of these. I gotta, right? So it's high up, and the water was so high, down the street where I reside. I mean, the water was up to my window, guys. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hit that reverse. Went back home, and I told that person, listen, stay home. We'll connect next week. But and so here's the stats. We had 31 dead. 31 dead altogether. I'm talking about this is all across the country. 31 dead, 8 missing, 8,835 families with damaged homes, are whether they're fully flooded or destroyed, right? And significant agricultural losses. A lot of agricultural loss yields, though. A lot of folks are saying we were lacking water, and that did help the water tables for Haiti quite a bit. But a lot of the above ground crops were lost because of overflooding. Right? And the most affected departments were the southeast and west departments. The brunt of those deaths and home losses, property losses were seen in those areas, right? The Pellegrini Basin overfilled. And one thing people don't really understand or appreciate is that that a lot of the water comes from the Dominican Republic. And the Dominican Republic does have some control. They have some dams themselves up there. And what happens when it rains enough, they open up the dams. It makes sense. I mean, otherwise they'll be flooded themselves, and the water goes downstream. It goes downstream to Haiti in the Pellegrini Dam. The problem, of course, is they're a pretty big dam, and even if you open up all 3 channels, it still takes a lot longer for that water to get through. Right? I don't even think all 3 channels can even be open. I think at most 2 channels within a dam can be open, and so the water overflows in that area. And people who are living nearby, I can tell you, there's a lot of people living nearby around the Pellegrini Dam and Basin, as they say. people get affected, homes get flooded, and it gets really bad for the people out there, right? So that happened as well. And the Ministry of Interior, Faiz, it's not just all gloom and doom. The Ministry of Interior and Faiz, which is the Department of Economic and Financial Support in Haiti, did respond about 72 hours after the hurricane. They were found providing mattresses, materials for repair for homes. For example, they were giving out metal sheets, wood, nail, food kits to people, hot meals as well. Not too clear how many people were actually helped or aided. It wasn't too clear, unfortunately, how many people were actually helped or aided. But at least they're acting. At least they're working on providing relief. The Haitian government is, right. So, again, we're not for any government. We're not against any government. We're here to report the facts as is. And if the government's doing good, we'll tell them, hey, they're doing some good stuff, and them responding to the needs of their citizens in that way. It's something that happened, and we're reporting on it, right? So let's take a quick pause here. Let's jump into the chats here. Let's see what people are saying. Let's go up a little bit and see what people are saying. Scroll up. Lots of chatter in the chat today. Love seeing it. Let's go. Okay, here we go. All right. Are there Haitian investment groups in Haiti for investors? There is. You want to check out Profin. Profin is one entity. Another is the Caribbean Investment Corporation. They also exist to help with investments. But of course, you gotta have serious amounts of money. At least 100,000, at least. And even then, I don't think they'll take it too serious. They're really looking for someone, for groups of people who have $1 million in cash that they're looking to invest and do things with, right? But still, if you have real money, not just $100 that you want to just, okay, let me put this $100 here. No, real money. There's certainly things that exist. Caribbean Investment Corporation, Profin, that can help you do structured investments in entities and properties in Haiti. Okay, thanks for that question. Food for thought says, how are you? 12 months till I move to Haiti, DR. That's what's up. Food for thought. Have a safe trip. We'll watch some of the Untitled, particularly the early ones I had related to electricity, related to dealing with the many different aspects that could be very foreign to someone coming from wherever you may be coming from, a more developed country, right? So do check that out. Rich T says, Jamaica and Cuba are cheaper on a large number of all-inclusive packages, attracting a lot more traffic in regards to tourism, right? Hotels prices are comparable to Bermuda and Aruba. Thanks, Rich T, for that comment. As always, folks really do have to understand, when it comes to economies, Jamaica and Cuba have attracted much more investment and have much more infrastructure than Haiti. And that, a dollar spent today means the next dollar you spend will get you more for your money, right? Just the economics of scale, effectively. Right? And Cuba as well. Cuba for a long time, even before communism, has been a touristic hotspot. And even during communism, they still kept things going, even though Americans couldn't go, but the world kept going. Europeans, other Latin Americans kept going. And it contributed to the fact that things are much more affordable in those countries today than it is in Haiti today. Right? As time goes on and more investment happens, and more people visit, competition will occur. And in particular, if Haiti's infrastructure in particular, electricity, roads, water the state can step up and do what it needs to do with its tax money and invest, you'll see a decline in the and also in the prices. In addition, as you see more competition in terms of other things that exist in Haiti, for example, there's no water parks, right? There's one movie theater which we showed in Haiti, right? Res Cinema. But beyond that, the reason why prices can stay the way it is because the native Haitians, believe it or not, they'll spend their money at a hotel, either to go to buy food or spend a night, because that is a luxury item. That is a way they spend. They want to have a weekend out of a year to do something really nice and pinky up. They'll do that. So nonetheless, they do that. Enough Haitians do that to where they have demand. So all those things contribute to a higher price. Right? But again, if you can't afford it, there's Airbnb. Right? I always say that. It's Airbnb. Try Airbnb if you can't afford a hotel. But I can tell you, or open up your own hotel, charge half the price, and you guys tell me how long you stay in business, given the realities of Haiti being what it is. Right? Amina Ray says, yep, had plans to go in September, and the gangs and killings scare me. What's funny, Amina Ray, I don't know where you live, Amina Ray. I don't know if you live in a white suburb somewhere and things are pinky up, but I live when I'm in Haiti, when I'm in Florida. I live near Miami, near Liberty City. There's killings every single day. I don't see people not coming to Miami. I live in Chicago for 5 years. There's killings every single day. I don't see anybody stopping to buy their tickets to go to Chicago. Jamaica has a much higher murder rate than Haiti, but I don't see anyone not going to Jamaica, right? You don't understand. Like Jamaica, Google it. Don't take my word for it. Google it. Jamaica has 2 to 3 times more murders per capita than Haiti. But no one's stopping. In fact, people are singing praise. Hey, Jamaica's cheaper than Haiti. I'd rather go to Jamaica. But you see Haitians. It's toujours Haitien, oui. Oh, there's one death. I saw one death on social media. And you know what? That proves to me that I don't want to go there anymore. Meanwhile, in their city that they live, there was 5 murders in the past hour. The reality is that murders happen everywhere, where crime happens everywhere. If you decide to go to Liberty City and flash $100 in Liberty City, I want to see how long you have that $100 in your hand. If you decide, instead of going to Pétionville, you go to Cité Soleil, you go to Matissan, you go to Cité des Dieux, right? You go to La Saline, and you start walking around. Yeah, you're probably not going to have a good time. You'll probably get robbed and shot. What are you doing over there? What are you doing over there? I don't know what you're doing over there. I mentioned this specifically to say there's parts in every single city. Chicago has Englewood, right? New York has someone in New York. I'm sorry, I have somebody in New York watching me. New York will tell me what part you don't go. If you're a tourist, you don't go, right? But I don't know. You guys do what you want to do. I don't see Jamaicans stopping visiting their country because they have higher murder rates. They're still investing, doing what they have to do. They just don't go to the places where murders are happening. I don't quite get it, right? I don't know. Stay where you're at. Stay in Baltimore and your, murder rates that are equivalent to Iraq. Y'all stay there. Haiti ain't for you. Haiti isn't a fair weather country. Folks are waiting for things of y'all. Perfect, sunny butterflies, kumbaya. Haiti will stay where it's at. I don't know what to tell you. Bounce Bougie 11, what's up, brother? What's up? There are more tourists with the price. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Bounce Bougie, you're absolutely right. LF, good afternoon. Let's see. Therefore, so I was saying, adding some comments in there. Alex Guanzi says, I'd rather shut down and start over again than put something in the market that does not make the price sense-wise. There you go. Alex Gordiani gets it. He's a businessman. He gets it. Right? Matthew DeFondal says, appreciate you so much. Church partners with our school in Wanamet and Don Don are providing some educational scholarships this every week. Get a sense of what's happening on the ground. Thank you, Matthew. And I wish your program luck. And that's a great way to, by the way, influence Haiti, by the way, is to help with scholarships. Right? You're helping students go to school, and you're not starting a, well, I don't know which school they're going to, but that's a great way to usually help providing direct, financial assistance to students to go to school. Out of different ways to do charity, that's a way that I don't find anything wrong with. Ronald Etienne in the house. What's up? What's up? Good to have you. I saw the Villa Torres video. It is a great spot, actually. Great spot. In fact, just a few hours before coming on air, I was thinking about how good their ceviche is. Ceviche. I said it right. Ceviche was so good. And you put on a cassave, man. Ceviche was like, to me. When you put that sucker on a cassave, yo, that's how it should be eaten. I'm telling you. Jay Ford says, our caps. Street cleaning, very important. Too much vodka on the streets. I agree with you. I certainly agree with you. No, can't argue with that. Wesley Company says, Sagafet for me. Here watching from work, live from Hollywood, Florida. Wesley, always a pleasure to see you, bro. Happy to have you, Wesley. Let's see. Alex, ooh. Mama, actually, I misunderstood Alex's comment, actually. Alex, very simple. Open up your own hotel. That's it. That's all I can tell you, Alex. Or don't go visit, right? Meanwhile, every other race and people are enjoying Haiti, right? I go to Decameron. I go to Wahoo Bay Beach. I go to the hotels I've already highlighted, Visa Lodge, Hotel La Reine, and it's other people who don't look like, who don't have the typical Afro ethnic features of Haiti, right? And they're enjoying having a good time, And it's always funny to me, and it's true no matter where you go, like in the Black community, right? And this is African Americans in the States. Folks have no problem spending money to go to, Ritz-Carlton and other, nice joints. No problem. But the moment it comes to spending money in your community, right, with other people who are you're willing to spend $100 at Gucci, but the guy who is charging you $10, you go, man, this dude's tripping. $10. Nah, man, you don't deserve that. You're black. Here's $5. Get out of here. That's the same mentality. And then they ask why there is no quality in the hood, why customer service is bad in the hood, right? Why can't they find things like greenery in the hood? And they blame the white man. That's the way to go. The white man's doing this to us. The white man. It's structural racism. I'm not saying that, and I say this in light, I know that exists. I'm not saying it isn't. But how much are you contributing to it? Right? How much are you contributing to it when you have, I'm having every other commenter here saying, I refuse to go to Haiti because I feel Haiti is a FATCA country with poverty, and I refuse to pay good money to go a good place and to enjoy my. That's what people are telling me. That's how I'm reading it. Haiti is a trash country, and I should be paying toilet paper to go to a hotel in Haiti. That's what I'm hearing. I refuse to pay a rate that is comparable to other countries. I refuse. Because even though I'll throw my flag up on Flag Day in Haiti, and I have Haiti this, Haiti that, but I refuse to actually spend real money in Haiti as a Haitian. Meanwhile, every other people who visit Haiti have no problems in spending because they see the value of Haiti. They see that their money, even though it might be a little more expensive, per night, maybe $30, $40 a night more expensive, they're adding to the ecosystem of the country. And they know that the dollar they spend today probably will mean that next time they visit in a few years, things would be cheaper. Right? They understand that. Other people understand that. Other races of people understand how economies work. Only Haitians don't. Only Black people don't. Right? En tout cas, Can't spend an entire show trying to educate people who refuse to be educated. I can't. Forget that I have an undergraduate in economics. Forget that I have a graduate degree in economics. Forget that I've been running businesses in Haiti for years. Forget that I have a book coming out with 101 ways to make money in Haiti. And it breaks down specific things as relates to the difficulties of running a business in Haiti and how to overcome it. Forget all that. Forget that. I'm just keep my mouth shut. I'll just agree with you guys. I don't know what else. I can't convince you otherwise. All right. The only thing I can tell you is if you guys feel so strongly about it, start your own hotel. Charge the price you feel it should be charged, and let me know how it goes. Right. I think hotels being so common in the Haitian community, that's one of the most common businesses people open up. I challenge you to do something else, because I mentioned a few times now, Airbnb is a thing. Try Airbnb if you really want to stay and not complain. But have a conversation with someone who runs a hotel. Have a conversation. Alex Gordani, this guy who's typing so furiously on in the comments here. Have a conversation with someone who runs a hotel. Genuinely. And don't come in with your perspectives of this is how I feel, your country who's a poor country should tell me, ask that person, what are the things driving your price? Tell me. And that person will tell you 90% of everything I just expressed to you already of why prices are priced the way they are. So, no, my brand is not hurting because I'm showing beautiful places that people could go and enjoy themselves in Haiti. Actually, it's the opposite. But in any case, you're welcome to unsubscribe. If showing by the way, IG is about to end. Go over to YouTube or Facebook. All right. Thanks, guys, and IG. If what I do so offends you, Alex Jordani, how dare I show beautiful things in Haiti? Unsubscribe. This is not for you. I'm sorry. CNN exists. Fox News exists. Miami Herald is charging $10.99 for a subscription for their e-literature. And all they do is show the worst parts of Haiti. That's the fatwa, what your expectations of Haiti. It's over there. So please, Alex Ronnie, unsubscribe and go tune in to the version of Haiti that you want to go see. No one's stopping you. It's a free country. I didn't force you to click this live, buddy. I didn't force you. I didn't force you to hit that subscribe button. Unsubscribe and go watch the version of Haiti that you feel Haiti is. Meanwhile, I will show the version of Haiti I know exists, places I want people to go, and what they have to offer. And I've already explained what drives the price. I don't know how many times I can say it. Okay. Jay George says, I'd rather go to Jacques Mel Jeremy. Jacques Mel Jeremy is, in fact, I'm going to Jacques Mel very soon, actually, for the first time. Can't wait for it. Jeremy's very beautiful. So I agree with you. Port-au-Prince, the best parts of Haiti is outside of Port-au-Prince. So I agree with you, Jay George. Neglakai 26 says, I'm sure that there are many more causes behind it. We have no good reporting mechanisms in place. All right. Let's scroll down some more. Let's see. Lots of conversations about it. Lots of conversations going on. 33 million is not a loan. The 33 million is not a loan. It's just straight up free money. Okay. So that 33 million is not a loan. Thanks for that question there. All right. Right. Excuse me. My liberté financière. Thanks for dropping by, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for dropping by. I haven't seen you here in a while. So happy to have you in the chat today. All right. Just keep scrolling down. I saw Terry 2000 in there. Terry, what's up, bro? Happy to have you in the chat today. Very happy to have you. Always good to see you. Evil Alexis. What's up, man? What's up? Or is it ma'am? I don't know. What's up? Good to have you. My brother's keeper. You're right. People go to Jamaica, Miami, Chicago, and New York. Higher murder rates. Crazy. Franklin Saint Charles, what's up? What's up, man? Happy to have you. First time I'm seeing your channel. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. Hope to have you back here. Charmaine Gerzon. Before signing, I want to go back. I was very scared. My father would listen to Haitian radio stations and make it seem as if that's all they do. You're right. That's the fundamental problem of Haiti media. That's all they show. Just the negative, right? So we do talk about the other things happening. We got Jimmy 1000. Hello, Seejeanty. J'ai découvert des chaînes. J'ai habité en France et j'ai les demandes vraiment si c'est possible d'investir en Haïti. J'aimerais resserrer. That's a combination of French letters. I'm not too good yet. Resserrer sous mon pays d'origine. Right? Yeah, absolutely. You can. The first thing I always tell folks, Jimmy 1000 is, reacclimate yourself with the culture. Before you spend a penny in investment in Haiti, you really should make it a point to come back and forth, get to know people, network, really get your sense of the country before you spend a penny in investment in the country. Because Haiti isn't a place that you can just fly by night, drop 100,000 and then think your money's going to make returns without doing any other extra effort. Haiti is a jealous mistress. She needs attention. And so if you don't have a lifestyle that's structured in a way where that maybe you can spend 1 month in Haiti, 2 weeks back in your country, come back, spend a month in Haiti, I would advise you to invest in Haiti. We live in a world nowadays where, because of remote jobs, it's a lot easier to work from a distance, right? And so it's a lot more possible, right? And so to potentially live in Haiti with an income and be close enough to monitor your business, right? So it's certainly much more possible today in 2020 than it ever was. And so, but that's what I advise you to do. I advise you to figure out how you can structure a lifestyle that has you in Haiti a lot more. Because again, you cannot run a distance. You cannot run a business from a distance in Haiti. All right, Jimmy 1000. Also, look out for my book. It's coming out before the end of the year, so look out for it. That should help you with some ideas and some ways to go forward. All right. Scrolling down some more. I want to just grab as much. I love the comments. Even if I'm not reading, I'm reading out loud. I'm seeing your comments. I do appreciate what everyone is saying. Right? I do appreciate it. Right? Franz Camille, don't waste your time with this guy. You got it. You got it, brother. You got it. Black Millennial, what's up? Black Millennial, what is up? What's up, man? Good to have you back. I think it's your second or third time in the chat. Happy to have you. Charlene Bartami, no subscriber over here. Just love your show. Hey, man, subscribe, man. Oh, new subscriber. Okay. New subscriber. Okay, Charlene. Happy to have you, Charlene. Happy to have you. All right. Happy to have you. Lovely King, you're right. The Chinese are going to put all these countries in debts for generations. It's a new version of economic colonialism. I think we've talked about that in the past. It's a very meaty subject. So suffice to say, I don't necessarily believe in that. I think the Chinese are doing investments that no other countries are doing that could potentially put these countries in a much better position. When you look at Jamaica and the highway system that was built, when I asked Jamaicans, actual Jamaicans in Jamaica, when I asked them about the investments the Chinese have done, like if I asked 10 Jamaicans, none of them will say, no, China's doing some great stuff here in our country, really helping us. I hear the criticisms about China from people who are outside of countries who are receiving Chinese assistance. The people who are in the countries, they're benefiting from real infrastructure projects that the USAID and IMF and IDB and all these countries, all these aid organizations that have been in these countries for ages have not really helped. China comes in and provides real infrastructure projects that can really help those countries. Now, are the loan amounts high? If the default happens, are they structured in a way where the Chinese won't lose their investment? Like a true investment vehicle, true investment relationship happens. Like if you lend somebody your car and don't pay your car, don't you get your car back, right? Or you lend somebody money for a home, and if they don't pay the home, don't you then have rights to that home? At least not forever though. They have it for couple, let's say 15 years, equivalent wise, right? That's how these relationships are structured. They don't lose their property or land forever, right? In any case, it's a much larger conversation, and I do want to get back to the news, but I don't know. I'd encourage you, Jay George, to actually talk to people living in these countries who are receiving Chinese investment, and you can tell me if I think you can tell they can tell you how they've been experiencing things, right? Pierre Joseph, what's up, bro? Happy to have you in the chat. Says our Haitian brothers and sisters need to stop posting all these negative images of Haiti. They think what they're going to do is good, but they're destroying Haiti. Haiti's a beautiful country. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think yeah, you do have to post negative. Something particularly bad happens, you got to post it. But those same people very rarely post anything positive. And that's a problem. That's a problem, right? Happy Sunday, Edwin. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. I don't agree with that, Aido. Aido says the best way to invest in Haiti is to cut off capital areas. That's not how capitalism works. You need more people coming in, not taking away from people who are doing ventures and then do what? Give it to people who have no business experience? That's not how economic progress works, man. Let's see. Lots of comments today. I love it. Lots of comments. I really feel Haitian men and women should invest in more disruptors like energy sector, transportation sector, and like you, communication sector. I don't agree. I wish more Haitians invested in industry, export-based businesses, and agriculture. That's what I wish more Haitians invested in, right? Because those are entities that can really impact and change the economy, and you can make a lot of money. That's my perspective. In fact, my next venture is going to be something very much in that lane, actually, in the coming year. I really look forward to providing more context to that. Right? So let's move forward. Banking in the country. There's a decree that happened on August 25th that states microfinance institutions are now subject to regulatory measures of the central bank. That wasn't how things were before. These entities weren't directly beholden to the regulatory body. Now they are. Right? Unibank and Capital Bank in Haiti, two very large institutions. Unibank, I believe, is the first or second largest institution in Haiti. They were charged 7.2 million USD in fines. 7.2 million USD in fines. 7% of these banks, 7% of the funds are of the money that this bank had in terms of free cash flow fined. In fact, 39% of the revenue they made for the year is what this $7 million equals to. And the reason for this, a few different bullet points. The non-transfer of inactive accounts to the accounting classification deposits, not subject to employment. Right? Failure to submit documents in the format required by BRH. Right? Almost 32% of the documents that should be given to the BRH didn't fit the format. Exceeding the daily limit of net foreign exchange positions, right, by 0.4%, which can be quite large as it's multiplied over time. In capital transfer, Capital Bank in particular has a subsidiary called Capital Transfer, which broke a rule that talked about the obligations to submit to BRH a weekly report of foreign exchange transactions, and they didn't. Their excuse was that, well, we were providing it, but we didn't break it out. We didn't break it out specifically the capital transfer, and because we didn't break it out, it may have looked like it wasn't. In any case, too long didn't read all that. The short of it is that these banks had specific rules that they weren't adhering to, and the BRH reacted. The BRH fine them for it. The BRH actually is one of the few regulatory bodies that takes their job very serious. It's probably one of the few institutions in Haiti that functions, right? If an entity doesn't perform and doesn't do what they're supposed to per the rules, guess what? They get hit with fees. They get hit with regulatory action. They get hit with cease and desist orders, and they get follow-up, right? Most importantly, they get follow-up. So, the BRH is doing their jobs, right? And it's pretty hefty. And when we're talking about 7.2 million, which represents as much as 40% of the revenue that Unibank, for example, brought in for the year. These aren't little fines, right? These aren't little fees. This isn't a slap on the wrist. This is a bâton sous déo, right? And so we're pretty sure that they'll make the necessary investments going forward to make sure that they don't get hit with these fees again. They will. We bâton and follow in line to make sure that they don't get hit with those fines again, right? FINCA obtained a $100 million good loan, which is equivalent to $877,000 from BNC. BNC, the Banque Nationale, the National Credit Bank of Haiti, is kind of how you translate that. And this fund is going to go to help support the 50,000 plus micro lenders that are a part of their entity, and to get more micro lenders. They have somewhere around 700. Currently, they have around 762 million micro lenders who get loans from this institution. 85% of these, by the way, 85% of these women, 85% of these micro lenders are women. So that's incredible. As you know, a big way to support any economy and drive economic change is to support women, right? 85% of FINCA's members are women, And so, and again, and what's interesting too is 57% of the transactions between payment and distribution goes by mobile banking. Which is incredible, right? So, and finally, not finally. So BRH provided a private bank evaluation, and really this evaluation was to sort of see the state of Haiti's banking sector post-COVID, current COVID, with COVID sort of be on the back end decreasing. Excuse me. And they found that 40% of the bank deposits were put in reserve, which is good. When you compare it with this time last year, 34% of bank deposits were in reserve. So that means, banks put more money in reserve to help ensure that they were solvent during this particular period of times being very difficult, right? And non-performing loans didn't rise to the extent that they thought it would. Non-performing loans rose from 6.54% from last year, September. Sorry, not last year, last month, to 7.99%. Right, so from 6.5% to 7.9%. So in effect, non-performing loans rose 1.5%, which isn't bad actually. Which is actually very, very good. An important trend that we talked about last time when we talked about these numbers: dollarization of deposits increased from 59.9% to 62.15%. Right, and for folks who don't know, dollarization is effectively the currency which, when people decide to put money away in a bank, what currency do they choose? And folks who may not know this, but you can actually open up a U.S. denominated bank account in Haiti. And even myself, given the unpredictability of good, even though I make almost all my money in dollars anyways, so it's not really applicable to me, but the few times that I do may receive a payout in good, I immediately provide that, put that payment, transfer it to dollars, especially when I know if I'm not going to be using it for a month or 2 months or 3 months, because otherwise I may lose a significant value of the currency I have, right? And so dollars is the preferred medium of savings in Haiti. And before somebody jumps in and says, wait a minute, Seejeanty, gold is a better way. Listen, folks, it's not, I'm talking about in Haiti, it's not that easy to buy gold. Relax. I'm not here to piss you off. Like, a lot of people are like, Bitcoin and gold, and they get mad at you when you dare say, this is how, I'm just saying, I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm just saying this is what people do. They put their money in dollars, including me, because the alternative is to keep it in good for 2 or 3 months before I have to use it. And so I don't want that to happen, right? We're not here to talk about investments. We're just saying when people are putting their money to be used later, they put it in dollars. So dollarization, that behavior has increased to where most of the assets and deposits in banks are now 62.15. They're held in dollars. Okay. And also interestingly, the good, which had risen to as high as 124 about 2 weeks ago, 124 for a dollar, actually is down now. It's down to 114. It's down to 114 for a dollar, which is incredible. Right? Moving on to agriculture, right? The University of Haiti, Faculté d'Agronome and Veterinary Medicine, they're finally, seeing some work to be done in their facilities. Bear in mind that this is the University of Haiti, by the way, the State University of Haiti. They saw that faculty, so important, by the way. Agronomy is basically the you can say the specialist of agriculture, right? People go to school specifically to study agriculture and agricultural ways of growing things efficiently, and right, very important. If Haiti should have, what doctors are to Cuba, agronomes should be to Haiti, honestly, right? Their facility was actually destroyed in an earthquake, right, back in 2010, and now they're finally seeing that facility being reopened. This is in part due to a $6 million investment from the IDB, right? And it's going to allow the capacity to jump from 35 students to 500 students, right? 35 students to 500 students, right? Which is incredible. Right? The faculty dormitory is going to be completed by October, which is just about next month, right around the corner. And the classrooms will be done by between April and May of 2021. The classrooms will be completed, and classes should start, one would hope, by the start of next fall, right? The only thing that's still lacking is they use an administrative building specifically for the School of Agronomy and Veterinary Medicine, and that still doesn't have money for it. In fact, they're asking for donations and looking for a backer, looking for a funder for their administrative building, right? So that's being worked on. But I'm sure they'll figure it out. Both things get built. Without it, I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get that built, get that done, get the administrative part working, I'm sure. But we'll certainly keep an eye on that and see if they can get some additional funding for their school faculty. It's really important that we get a real infrastructure in for agronomy, because they can whatever path forward for Haiti run through a more productive agricultural sector, period. You gotta be very clear, okay? The National Bank of Agricultural Development, Haiti does have a National Bank for Agricultural Development. So they've had it since 1989, okay? There's been a new board appointed by King Moise, Yes, I call him King Moise because he's ruled by decree with no parliament. He hasn't held elections. and he's running the country like a king does, right? King Moise. He's appointed a board for the king, for the Bank of National Agriculture. King Moise also has promised. He says 0% agricultural loans. 0% agricultural loans is what King Moise says. And additionally, 95 communal agricultural offices are going to now start to serve as branches for the bank, the National Bank of Agricultural Development in Haiti, right? So, and in these places, farmers will be able to, in these places, farmers will be able to apply for credit for farming, right? Beneficiaries will have a trend, but will have to the end of the harvest to repay their loan. So imagine right before the harvest, they'll borrow some loans to buy seeds and do preparatory work, pay laborers, and then also keep a little bit aside to then collect the food. And then once they sell the harvest, they're supposed to pay back the loan, right? Now, what happens if they don't pay the loan? I don't know, and that's one thing that's a question mark, right? The only thing I was able to get is just they ask really politely, and they just send people to keep asking, can you pay your loan, right? Whether or not that works, whether or not the way things should be structured would be fair, given that, hurricanes happen and pay lock happens, depending on the circumstance, even with a good harvest. For example, last year we had Haiti lost a lot of its harvest because of pay lock, because the country was going through a very aggressive political storm and protests, and the whole country was shut down, and a lot of harvests went bad because they couldn't get their crops off the field, and those who were even fortunate to get out the field couldn't get it to the city centers to sell, right? So what happens during those times? We don't know. La Tature Farm, La Tature Farm, and those who know, open their doors, right? Open their doors to tourists, not tourists, to media, right? To academics, to professionals, about 500 people were able to visit La Tature Farm. La Tature, by the way, is the farm of Yuri La Tature. Yuri, those who know Yuri. Well, I'm not here to say anything that will compromise my ability to be talking to you from Haiti, in Haiti. Let's be clear. So I'll let you do your own research on Yuri La Tature. Thus, suffice to say, he's a very savvy Haitian politician who really has learned how to master Haitian politics, like very few other Haitian politicians have. I can say that. And if you want to learn more about Mr. Yuri La Tature, there's plenty of things that exist online. Google them, and you can see for yourself what sort of history our good friend and senator Yuri La Tature has. So one thing our good friend Senator Yuri La Tature has done recently has taking a loan out from ONA. ONA is the insurance, like retirement insurance entity in Haiti, like Social Security basically, right? But in Haiti, people can actually take loans out from the Social Security Department and do things with it. Yuri La Tature took the loan out, amongst many other people, many senators, many high-profile people taking loans out from ONA. And a lot of controversy has come around because a lot of people haven't paid back that money or haven't been made timely payments back. And it's structured in a way where they're not supposed to. A lot of them have got structured loans to where they're not supposed to pay for a few years. Others have put loans in the name of names of family members who, if they were to pass, elderly family members, if they were to pass, wouldn't have to pay it back, right? I'm not saying who's doing that. I'm just saying there's reports of it being done, okay? The news is out there. The information is out there, right? But this is a very hot dossier, right? And in fact, recently, Senator Yuri Tortur was a deputy, parliamentarian. Yuri Tortur was called up to the Anti-Corruption Bureau to speak about his loan, of which he claims that his loan is in order. He's living up to the obligations of that loan. And furthermore, to show what he's been doing with the money, he opened up his farm to show that, that the facility, which previously made about 30 to 50,000 eggs a month, is now able to produce 150,000 eggs per day. You heard that right. He's producing 150,000 eggs per day and selling those eggs locally to local marchands with hopes to one day export. And providing jobs. He has over 50 permanent employees who work in that facility and was able to produce 300 construction jobs as he was able to expand and grow his entity. All right. Now, on paper, we're certainly happy to see those sort of jobs and those sort of productions happening in Haiti. We certainly wish more of the diaspora were involved in these sort of operations. It's a massive farm that sits on several hundred hectare acres. In fact, when you're driving to the south, say if you're driving to Okai, you're driving to Jeremy, you're driving to Miagwan, as you pass through Leogan, you will see a very large field with these very large white buildings, very large, lush field, very large white buildings. And I've asked a few times, every time I pass by, there's been a time where I don't pass by. I'm like, oh man, what are those? Look nice. What are those? And whoever in the car says, oh yeah, that's Yuri Tortur's farm. Oh, interesting. Okay. So for what it's worth, right? The farm is very large. It seems from the outside productive. You were to take the value of what Louis Tatur is saying. He's producing something that truly, honestly, should be applauded, right? If more senators and deputies took a portion of the money that they're receiving, and however they may be receiving it, and actually did infrastructure projects like that, even took 10% and did infrastructure projects like that, Haiti would be in a much better place, right? Certainly. Right? Whatever your opinion of Mr. Yuri Tortur may be, and whatever the facts and history of Mr. Yuri Tortur you may find about him, that this project, even if you're producing half of what he says it is, which, no, in Haiti, that's probably the closer number, that is still a laudable activity. And that is what I wish, again, I'll say it again, that is what I wish more Haitian diaspora. Because I know there's so many Haitian diaspora I know that have land in Haiti. You know, they have acres of land in Haiti. I wish they would get into these sort of exercises and activities. Haiti would be a lot further off if they were, right? The video of the tour of the farm can be found on my Facebook page, Seejeanty. I posted it just a few days ago. So if you're so inclined, you can go watch that video of Yuri Tortur's farm. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting tour. And you can learn a few things, right? Okay. All right. And that wraps up agriculture. Now let's move forward to airports, right? Airport in Jeremy has a new fire department. Airport in Jeremy has a new fire department. It's one of the things that are required if you're going to be an international airport. Right? And Jeremy does purport to be an international airport, right? Just like Cap Haitien Jeremy is supposed to be an international airport that can take international flights at some point. And I believe I reported last week, I don't have my notes in front of me, but we do have one airline that will be flying. Well, Sunrise Airways is already flying from Port-au-Prince to Jeremy. And I believe there was another airline that announced they were going to make flights to Jeremy. Right? Again, I have to take a look at my notes on that, but there is another airline. So that's great news. And getting a fire department is absolutely crucial. I certainly hope this fire department maybe supports the larger city and that just doesn't stick to Jeremy, because I'm not aware of Jeremy. Actually, no. I stand. No, Jeremy does have a fire department. I remember visiting Jeremy and actually driving by the fire department. And so, anyone who lives in Jeremy or goes to Jeremy, feel free and correct me if I'm wrong. But I just specifically remember when I was in Jeremy, running past what someone told me was their fire department. Right? So this would then be their second fire department, and I guess would be exclusively for the airport. Okay. Eastern Airlines has announced flights from New York to Port-au-Prince. I'm going to say that again. Eastern Airlines is going to resume flights between New York and Port-au-Prince starting August 29th. And I'm very happy to hear that, especially since we've lost so many flights. American Airways have cut back flights. JetBlue cut back flights. And for a while there, flights were astronomical in Haiti. I'm talking about, I felt like I could have flown to Nigeria, much less Haiti, which is my backyard. I'm talking about flights from Miami to Haiti were that large. So on top of that, the price points are very affordable. We're looking at a fare starting from $124 one way from JFK to Port-au-Prince to $194 from Port-au-Prince to JFK. So pretty affordable, right? Pretty affordable rates from between. So you can basically get to do a full round trip from New York and back for about $250, which is $350, which is pretty good. Pretty good, right? The next news story has to do with electricity. Dimitri Vorb released from ICE detention. That's it. No other electricity news. I could have fit this anywhere else. Dimitri Vorb released from ICE detention. Right? Per his brother and other sources close to Dimitri, his papers are in order. He's supposed to be in in America. He's not being deported. And we don't know. I suspect that he's probably doing something related to seeking asylum, given the climate against him and his company in Haiti. But we don't know the full facts or figures of how he got released. I'm sure that will come out in due time. But Dimitri Vorb is out of ICE detention, right? Funny how that works, though. I know so many Haitians who can spend years in ICE detention. Dimitri Vorb only spent a couple of days. Interesting how that works. But in any case, good to have Dimitri Vorb out. No one should be in a detention center that necessarily they shouldn't be in. So good to have Dimitri Vorb out. I'm sure Dimitri Vorb is someone who's shy from social media. I'm sure we'll be hearing very soon from Dimitri Vorb about his experiences and the real reason to why he may have gotten a bit of pression from the U.S. government concerning his residency or status in America. If it is true that he is indeed legal, so why did they bother him if he got out so quickly, right? So we'll see. Time will tell, and that facts and those stories will be released soon enough, right? And the last news story, which we're going to talk about, has to do with insecurity in Haiti. It's something that we got to talk about, guys. Really important to talk about, right? And before I do, though, I got to preface it to say Jamaica has a higher murder rate, right? Let's be clear. 3 times more murders happen in Jamaica than in Haiti. Let's be clear. Chicago has a higher murder rate than Haiti. In fact, I know for a fact this weekend in in Chicago, we'll have somewhere between 50 people shot. This week in Chicago, we'll have somewhere around 15 murders. 15 murders. Yeah, because that's a good weekend. About 15 people will lose their lives, in the Black community in Chicago this weekend. Right? Children will be killed. Children. There's stories where toddlers have received bullets. Right? Murders, thefts, muggings, burglaries, house invasions will happen in Chicago this weekend. Not just Chicago, Baltimore, Miami. I live in South Florida. When I'm in America, I'm in South Florida, so I can tell you this firsthand. New York, my New Yorkers will tell me exactly where to avoid because of crime. Right? Dominican Republic, high crime rate, murders, deaths. Bahamas, murders, deaths, all higher. In fact, don't take my word for it. Google, please Google murder rates in Haiti. Haiti has the least amounts of murders per capita than any other country in the Caribbean. Even today, as I'm about to enter this news story about insecurity, today that I'm speaking to you, Haiti has the lowest murder rate in the Caribbean. I say that real loud, because somebody's not hearing me. Somebody in this chat is going to say, I'm not going to Haiti because I hear there's murder going on. Meanwhile, in your city, there's more murders that happened last night in your city than happened the entire month in all of Haiti. But you're going to tell me you aren't going to come to Haiti because you heard of murders. Okay. Cool. Don't go to Haiti. Stay in Chicago. Stay in Miami. Right? Where if the gangsters don't shoot at you, the police probably will. Hands up. Right? I haven't heard of any cops killing any innocent people in Haiti, but that's a different topic. I'm gonna make somebody mad. I'm gonna leave that alone. Right? I want to be crystal clear. Before I enter a talk about insecurity in Haiti, tell me where you live. Give me your murder statistics. And let's compare it to Haiti. Straight up. Wherever you're watching this from, go pull up your FBI stats on murder rates in your city that you're watching this from. Drop it in the chat. And I'll go pull up the murder rates for Haiti. And I'll drop it in the chat. And we'll see who has the lower murder rate. Let's be crystal clear. It's unfortunate that, Haiti, the only thing people report about Haiti is a negative. It's unfortunate. Right? I get it. Like if I lived in America and the only thing I ever got about Miami wasn't the beaches, wasn't about the nightlife, wasn't about the entrepreneurs that are making up Miami, wasn't about the businesses in Miami, wasn't about the options, the shopping options, the hotel options in Miami, wasn't about spring break in Miami. Imagine if you were to take everything that that's good about Miami and you only reported murders. I get it. I'm not here to. If you don't know better, people say if you knew better, you do better, right? So if you don't know better, I can't fault you for not doing better, not saying better. I get it. That I've lived here in Haiti for 3-4 years. Nothing. I haven't been robbed. I haven't been mugged. Haven't lost a dollar. Haven't been physically molested, physically accosted by anyone. I feel more safe in this country than I've ever felt in any other country. I've lived in France. I've lived in Chicago. I lived in Miami. Never have woke up. Never have 1 minute pass by do I feel my life's in danger in Haiti. Lived here 4 years. Me. But I get it. If you're there and all you do is listen to Haitian radio stations, you listen to what your dad tells you about Haiti, you hop in a WhatsApp group, that's all they share is negative. I get it. I wouldn't want to visit Haiti either. Listen to me, people. Listen. If I were you and I, Seejeanty, heard only the negative of Haiti, I would be talking bad about Haiti too. I would not be in Haiti too. If I only got my news from CNN, Fox News, Miami Herald, I would not step foot in Haiti. I get it. Cool. I'm not following you. All I'm saying is, before I jump into this section about insecurity, run the stats. Give me the stats, the murder rates in your wherever you're watching this from. Philadelphia in the house, New York's in the house, Hollywood, Florida's in the house, Atlanta's in the house, Chicago's in the house, Boston's in the house, Orlando's in the house, right? All these folks are in the house. Give me your murder rates, and I'll grab my murder rates for Haiti, and let's see who has a lower murder rate. Okay? All right. Unwanted. Let's talk. Haiti has been experiencing insecurity. Insecurity in the sense that for a while, of course, we had this bout of politically motivated kidnappings. Right? And we can say it's politically motivated kidnappings because every person who's been arrested, if they're not low-level thugs and gangsters, have had some sort of connection to someone in politics. The car registered to this guy who was going around kidnapping. This truck was actually registered to a senator or deputy. Right? It's happened multiple times. Right? As I promised you, high-level arrests would have been made. High-level arrests were made. Kidnapping went down. I said this on Seejeanty. Today, as we're talking, no one's talking about kidnapping anymore. Why? Because people are arrested. People went to jail. People are in jail right now. There was a clampdown. It went down. So after the kidnapping, there had been a spike in murders, gang violence, particularly gang violence in the poorest neighborhoods of Haiti. Right? The poorest neighborhoods of Haiti. Where you are going when you visit Haiti, I don't know where your family's from, but I know most people when they come to Haiti, their families in Delma, Upper Delma, Pétionville, Pensacola, La Boule, Thomasin, Fort Jacques, on and on and on. Ain't murders going on there. The murders are going on in the poorest parts of Haiti. Now, doesn't make it right. I'm just telling you in terms of your safety. Right? In the poorest parts of Haiti, it's predominantly, just like in your country, it's gang versus gang murder. Gangs are killing other gang people. People affiliated with those gang people are being murdered too. People, innocent civilians who who are caught in the crossfire are being murdered as well. Okay? It's unfortunate, but that's what's happening. But actually, the worst of when this was happening, areas of Matissan, actually have seen an incredible decrease in gang activity and gang violence. For a while, areas of Matissan, there was no man's land. You can cross if you want to, but it was no man's land because of the amount of violence that was happening in those areas. That violence has decreased considerably to the point where people are now able to freely cross without worry of violence happening in that part of town, right? That's where we are right now. We're in a much better situation than we were before, a few months ago, today, as I'm talking to you. Now, what's happening, what's been getting headlines, has been some high-profile murders, right? Recently, we had a businessman by the name of Michael Sahil, who was viciously gunned down with his wife in the car and bodyguard. For several blocks, he was chased. Just imagine, it's like something out of a movie. In his car, 5 people, 5 gangsters, I don't know what, thugs, came and shot up his car. They tried to run, the bodyguard shot back, and they made it a point. They followed him several blocks and executed him. Very similar to something out of an Al Capone movie. What was the Goodfellas? What was the other one? Godfather, right? A very vicious murder. A murder that wasn't random. Wasn't random. Make it very clear. I'll go in Haiti and I'll be randomly killed. When 5 people attack you, chase you several miles across town, very busy part of town, and then after they shoot up your car and after you die, they peer into the car to double check that you're dead. That isn't a random act of violence, my friends. Nous avons une expression en Haïti qui est règlement des comptes. Règlement des comptes. Right? The equalization of account is the hard translation. I don't know who Michael Sahil is. Never met him. I think as time goes on, the truth will come out in terms of who he is and what he may or may not have been a part of. I don't know. What I can tell you is that style of murder doesn't happen at random. Whatever the reason may have been, right or wrong, right? Whatever reason that may have been, right or wrong, right? It wasn't a random act of murder. I can't speak any more to that. That's all I know. I know what you know, what you can Google, right? But I can tell you that style of attack on a person isn't random. And no matter what country you're in, right? Maybe America, France. One thing I like to say about Haiti is this. I don't know Michael Sahil. I just know this. Haiti is a place where if you're into shady shit, you're going to find things that happen to people in that sector that could take maybe 20 years to come at you. In other countries, will take you only 10 or 5 years. That's all I can say. Another high-profile murder has to do with a lawyer, head of bar association, Mr. Montferier Durval. Right? He was the head of the Lawyers Association in Haiti, a very large profile person who was daily on the radio speaking against some of the things that King Moise was doing in terms of trying to redo a constitution and the way he was trying to do it, right? And so he was a very vocal critic of the administration. 2 nights ago, on his way back home, he was parking his vehicle. An unknown amount of assailants came out and murdered him, shot him and murdered him. The entire country is shocked. The entire country is saddened. The entire country is mourning because of who this man was. He was a mentor to many young adults. He's an intellectual, academic. By many accounts, he was a good man, and he is no longer with us. King Moise came out, despite him being a critic of King Moise. He said that he is going to spend, the state is going to do 3 days of national mourning. Flags will be at half staff to commemorate Mr. Duvall's life. And he said that he's going to dedicate every single resource to go after the murderers of Mr. Duvall. Okay? It's unfortunate. We won't know the true reasons to why he was murdered. He has a high-profile murder. We do hope justice is served. And we will watch. We will see if we do get a bit of extra light in that. The final big high-profile murder recently has been Frankie Bonnie. He was a media personality off of Television Caribe, a young man. And on the returning from a ceremony that was held at the National Palace, honoring a Haitian musician, the head of Combo, what is it? Kai Combo, that's the name of that band. Something Combo is on the tip of my tongue. Right? On his way back, he was shot and killed. So we don't know the situations to that. We don't know the situations to why he was shot and killed. We don't know. But it was a very high-profile murder, and a lot of people who watch. It's a very popular television station. And if you're on that, you're going to be known in the country. Are mourning his death. And that's one of three. Those three are three of probably another, at least overall 5 or 6 high-profile murders that have happened recently in Haiti. I can't say anything more than what's been reported, except to say in Haiti in general, the reality is rarely do things happen randomly. And that's the truth. You know, when it comes to Haiti, you'll find murderers get caught and murder and go to jail in this country more than others, because usually there's a trail, there's motivation that can be found by talking to people relatively quickly in this country, because very few things are done randomly, right? Very few things are done randomly in this country. I can't say any more than that, because I don't know the facts to each specific case, right? But Tabu Kambo, thank you, Marie Pierre, thank you so much, Marie Pierre. Tabu Kambo. It's where Frankie Bonnie came coming from a ceremony honoring the head of Tabu Kambo band. Thank you for that. And that's all I can say, because I don't know the facts. On this program, we only talk about facts, right? But it is a fact. You know, nothing happens in Haiti that's random, right? Nothing happens in Haiti that's or knocking on the door there. Nothing happens in Haiti that is simply in fact, I may have to go answer that door, actually. You guys bear with me, all right? You guys bear with me. I'll be right Actually, I did have to answer that. This episode's gonna be a little. We're gonna wrap this up because I got some guests from Kafu who just came to visit me, some family members. So we cut this short today. But I hit the keynotes. Right? Which is I don't know the conditions of what happened, right? But Haiti has nothing happens randomly in Haiti. Okay. And despite these high-profile murders, despite what has happened in Haiti, Haiti still has a lower death rate, murder rate than any other country you can cite. We do hope justice is served. It's very clear. For Michael Sayal and his family, we do hope we get justice. For Mr. Montfilier Doval and his family, we do hope justice is served for that family. For Frankie Bonnie, we do hope justice is served for that family, right? And anyone else who becomes a victim in Haiti to murder, to violence, we hope and implore that justice is served. But I want to be very clear that these things do not happen in a vacuum. You know, your odds as a tourist coming in the country is you have a higher chance of being hit by lightning in Haiti than being a victim of violence in Haiti. And that is the truth. And anyone who's visited Haiti, who frequently visits Haiti, will tell you clearly that they feel safer in Haiti than they do in any other country they visit or live. So that's the last news story for the day. That is where I'm going to end it, right? I do want to skim through some of these, before I end it. I want to skim through some of the chats here because I want a very long block without reading the chat, right? Let's read through it. Let's read through. I gotta go all the way up. Okay. All right. That's right. Here we go. I think we're talking about Leogan, right? Agriculture. Oh, there it is. Yuri's a smart businessman. There you go. Fritzval. Pakite yo fe ou show Haiti na politique. Don't you worry about it, Fritz. Don't you worry about it, right? Don't you worry about it. We won't. Where's Leogan? Leogan is in the southeast of Haiti, right? My dad's from there. I used to go to summer vacation. Would see Yuri every time. He would be in town from his old job. He was a security officer for President Aristide. A very quiet dude. He was a senator. All right, fair enough. Dimitri Vorb was released because Haiti didn't give America Jimmy Cherez. Interesting. Chris Laws says, please, my brother, be careful. Our people can be very savage. So please keep taking our precautions. High crime rates in Philadelphia as well. High barely track coronavirus. You think Haiti barely tracks. So that's one thing they actually do very well, Tracy. That's, crime rates are tracked. I don't know what else to tell you. Crime rates are tracked, right? And one thing that does happen to you if something does happen to you, most Haitians are very good at going to the local commissariat and reporting the crime that happened. So I don't know I can convince you otherwise, but crime is reported, and those statistics are provided at a national level. So I don't know what to tell you, right? Daniel Dodard says, I got put over in Copenhagen. I was scared. I get pulled over in long run, and I shit myself, I think. Okay. Jordan Preach, it's the same type of American systematic issues as much as an issue in Haiti, but much worse. People have yet to understand for the same as 100% safe in Haiti. I hear you. The thing is, our people don't like the one who can bring our country to another level. As soon as you voice your intellectual voice, they're trying to silence you. It doesn't make sense to keep. I'm not too sure about that, to be honest with you. I just know things don't happen by itself. I know a lot of people who are doing great work in Haiti, who are very intellectual, have been doing it for for many years, and they're still alive. So I don't necessarily buy that, right? I think we need to change that narrative up and just understand we don't know who people really are. And we do hope that people who do the crime do go to jail, and all facts come out as it relates to what may have happened, right? Yours truly, PL, says, I live in the hood, and I live in most suburban areas, and I realize that's how you move, and it's who you move with, right? Thanks for that, right? Jordan D goes, you need to make a video summarizing everything you're saying to send our old heads that have been indoctrinated by negative media for the whole young generation to send like wildfire. I probably should, shouldn't I? I probably should make like a 5-minute session where I'm just talking about those things. There's a new version of Untitled that I want to do that are going to be basically like just short 3, 4, 5 minute, just sort of me talking, just like I'm doing right now, but hitting key points and doing it in a visual style. But I want to get my book out first. And then I'll probably do a series like that, right? But thanks for that, Jordan. It is on my to-do list, believe me. Right? Hey, I think if you have time, you should do segments of this live feed for each topic. Thank you. I don't have the time to go through it, because there's ways on YouTube anyways to kind of put where things are talked about in different points. You know, remember, I'm one-man team, and the amount of time I spend on research and everything's a lot to begin with. But at least one-man team for Haiti Biz News anyways. But eventually that's on a to-do list to kind of organize the stream a little better, I promise, right? So DJ says something very interesting. He says, I think the problem is Haiti it's not that Haiti's violent, but just this level of impunity that goes with it. La vie continues, and both victims and criminals are soon forgotten. I leave Haiti alone. I disagree. I think in every big profile murder that I've been aware of in Haiti, there's been an arrest, right? And the facts usually come out. So I don't know where you're getting that from, but high profile murders get arrests, right? Now I do feel a little bad for the Malere, the folks who aren't high profile, but I don't see any difference in that than when I'm in America, right? I don't see any difference that when I'm in America, like when a poor black person gets murdered, most poor black murders stay unsolved. So I don't quite understand the difference, right? And to be honest, there's some high profile murders that remain unsolved. For example, do you know who shot Tupac? I don't know who shot Tupac. Do you? Right? Do we really know who killed Malcolm X? Right? Something came out on Netflix recently, right? But Netflix isn't the law. They aren't the judicial system. So officially, we still don't know who really shot Malcolm X, right? I'm just saying, let's just be clear. If we're gonna make parallels and say things, be ready for the alternative side of that argument, right? Right? Let's see. Right? And LF says, I won't have to an economist to understand your book. Oh, okay, yeah, you don't. LF, I tell you, I don't have to be an economist to understand your book, right? No, don't worry. In fact, there's very little economic analysis done. It's just straight up, here's ideas, here's how to be successful in an idea. Here's some people in that idea and executing that idea and what they've done and what they've shared and how they've done it. And then on top of that, the tell in the book is, here are some things that if you're going to come to Haiti, here's how you avoid. Here's some things, some pitfalls, some things you should know about the labor market, the import structure, a lot of different, very real estate, a lot of different things people ask me all the time that I went ahead and gave exposition on, right? All right. Jordan D says, well, Netflix isn't the judicious system. Jordan, Netflix is Netflix. They're there to share a good narrative and a good story. I'm talking about the judicial system in America, right? Okay. All right, so that's it. That's where we're gonna end it. I got family waiting for me outside. Got to go check them out. But I want to thank everyone for watching. I think we had a very action-packed episode. If you enjoyed this episode, if you learned something from it, do share it. Do share the live, right? Per usual, we're here every Sunday, 11 a.m. Though I am going to try to do. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. Next week there will be no Haiti Biz News show. There is no Haiti Biz News show next week. I'm actually going to be out of town, so there is no Haiti Biz News next week. Just FYI. And because I'll be gone all weekend, I can't even do it like a Saturday night or something. I can't squeeze it in at all. So just be aware, no Haiti Biz News. But I promise, when we're back in 2 weeks, I will have 2 weeks worth of news and updates and information to give you guys. All right, promise. Scouts honor. Okay. Beyond that, remember, hit up YouTube Seejeanty. Lots of content there, lots of episodes, lots of things we've done to showing off the country. There's gonna be a brand new episode coming out this week. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification button if you're not already. If you like what we got going on here, if you want to support the mission, we have the Square Cash below. So hit up that Seejeanty Square Cash. Everything you provide goes to the war chest. We buy new equipment. We expand our staff. The quality that you've seen recently has been in large part because of the contributions we've gotten, right? So you have that option. But again, you can always share. Sharing costs nothing. Subscribing costs nothing. And it gives almost as much impact as cold hard cash, right? So keep that going. By the way, we recently hit 5,000 subscribers. 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. So a lot of new faces, a lot of new people. I want to thank you so much for giving me your support by saying, hey, of all the options I have online, this guy who's just talking in Haiti about Haiti in a very common sense way to help the country. I want to hear more. I want to subscribe. So all those people who recently joined, thank you so much. Welcome to the Seejeanty audience. Keep me earnest. Feel free. Voice your opinions. Right? I don't have to agree with it, but voice it. I'll tell you what, and I'll respond to you too. This isn't politically correct show. I will respond to you if I need to. Believe me, I will be in the comments. Ask some people. They know. I ain't afraid to go back in the comments. But nonetheless, respond. It's an engaged community we have here. It's a group of people we can disagree. It's good. But at the end of the day, I'm just honored to be connected each week to people who are engaged and believe Haiti can change and are involved in their different capacities to change Haiti. Right? And that's what I'm very happy about. Right? And yeah, that's where I'm going to end. Usually I run through the headlines again, but again, time's of the essence. I got people waiting for me. We'll be back in 2 weeks, guys. And as always, guys, we'll be back at it again when we're back at it again. Peace.